Hello everyone, and welcome to qualifying for Suzuka in Japan. As we see a lovely few shots of the track there, I'm just going to apologise for the lack of sound in this video, or other than me. Unfortunately, I've got no idea why it happened. I just exited the game, played the video, and there was no sound. Tested it again, and it worked perfect. So absolutely no idea why that's happened. It unfortunately will also apply for the race, which is going to be tomorrow. But I can't do anything about it now. At least you've got me nattering on instead. Okay, so jumping straight into the setup then. 2 wings, 4753 brakes, and the rest is just full dry. Well, everything actually is full dry setup, barring the brakes. So I haven't changed much at all, as I promised in the last career video. I'll go back to a much more default setup like I usually use. And I've also gone for a set of the prime tyres. I'm hoping I can get through into quali 2. Hoping I can get through quali 1 with the harder set of tyres. So practice was interesting. I ended up 16th, had an R&D for better brakes. Or I think it was brakes last long or something, but it was quite an interesting one. I had to use the brakes for 6% or more on a flying lap and also achieve a target time. The target time was way too slow, but the 6% thing was quite interesting. It also shows the percentage of how much I've used so far on that lap, so that was quite interesting. But there we go. So jumping straight into a quali lap then. DRS is wide open for the run to the first corner. It's a very, very fast first corner. You've got to try and get it all slowed down whilst turning to get into the second corner. It's not easy at all, very tricky, but I just about managed it then. So DRS wide open once again. Oh, got a bit of grass on my tyres. You really want to avoid that through these S's because of the obviously nature of S's. If you get grass on your outside tyre, it'll be the inside tyre for the next corner, or vice versa. I mean, if you get it on the inside tyre, it'll be on the outside tyre for the next corner, so it will slow you down. So you need to try and avoid that if you can. And I'll come into the end of the first sector then, 36.4, no idea what that means yet. But the lap looks reasonable, not great as I said since I touched that grass, but it looks reasonable anyway. So it's very, very tricky braking for the hairpin. Oh, as I run a little bit wide there, luckily it was right towards the end of my braking. Got a little bit of wheel on the grass. Shouldn't make too much difference, but it's certainly not going to be a perfect lap. I can tell you that now. As we now come to spoon curve then. Trying to brake as late as possible, get on that curve a little bit just like that, down to second gear, hold it nice and tight, and then floor the throttle as soon as you see fit, just like that. So DRS wide open once again then, curve's fully activated, up through the gears, 7th gear, DRS is still wide open, coming up to 130R, shutting it just briefly on the apex, and opening again on the exit. You keep open on the entry as well. So braking right down now into the final chicane, very slow section of the track. DRS is wide open once again for the run around the final corner. And we're going to cross the line in just a second, and there it is, a 37.6. There's no sense in me doing another lap really, I shouldn't imagine, since those cars are in front of me. And I've run it wide anyway, yeah, right out. Oh, I don't know, actually I've held it quite tight. No, then I ended up running wide. So I'll let centre pass then in the Williams. And I will just do a cool down lap really. I'm going to go for a hot lap on the next lap, because I need to be better than that I reckon. That certainly wasn't a great lap. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Quite a way off where I need to be, I should imagine. Probably into the 36s I need to be, I would say, to get through. That's a bit of a guess, though. I didn't quite catch what my teammate did, unfortunately. Ooh, his clock gets in the way, but there, luckily I'm not on a hot lap, so it hasn't made a difference, but that would have been frustrating if I was. That's Petrov there. Goes on the outside. Looks like he's going to let me pass, but then goes for a little bit. But there we go, I'm through now. So then doing some swerving to keep the tyres nice and warm. While we do this cool down lap, I'll just tell you that I have been trying to work with a Formula 1 photographer to get some good photos that I can use in my intro to the 2013 season, where I'll discuss all the cars and discuss what's happened in testing, give my predictions for the year before Melbourne, but after the Barcelona test, which is running right now. But unfortunately that's fallen through. We're going to do some sort of deal where I do some work for him and he gives me the images, but unfortunately that's not going to happen anymore. So it's too expensive. It's looking like something like £80 a month or so to have the privilege, which unfortunately just isn't feasible at all with the amount I get from the YouTube channel, which isn't as much as that. So unfortunately that doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. I don't really want to do it without any Formula 1 pictures. It wouldn't make any sense, to be honest. I don't want to just play the game in the background. I do want to have some good images for you, so I can show you what I'm talking about, not just talk over a video. So now then, we're on another flying lap. It's been a better first sector so far through the S's. Now coming out then, looks pretty good to me. Fairly clean tyres, not much grass at all. DRS is wide open. 7 tenths up first sector alone. Wow, so that's already heading for a 36.9. Still half a second down on pole at the moment. They're not on pole, but P1, it's not going to be pole since qualifying split into 3 qualifying sessions. Wherever I finish in the session is not necessarily where I'll be starting on the grid. I just need to get inside the top 17 as indicated by that white line and the green 17 there on the left, top left. So it's been pretty good. Then lap so far, was I run a bit wide though, wind up off the circuit in Spoon Curve. Just took too much speed on the entry, but I get a pretty good exit. So hopefully that's only cost me a couple of tenths. But we'll see. So what was I? 7 tenths up, wasn't I? So let's see if that's lost me time. I should imagine I'm probably still up because the rest of it is better. I am 1.1, more or less 1.2. So another half a second middle sector. Can I increase that a little bit more in the final sector? Still half a second down on pole. That's not bad. That hopefully should see me through if I can keep that up. Run a little bit wide in the first part of the chicane. So it's not been a perfect final sector. But can I still improve my time? I can just about by another about half a tenth or so in the final sector. 0.6 off pole then. That hopefully will be enough to see me through, but I'm not so sure actually. That's put me in 16th. Wow, very tight field here in Suzuka then. I'm not expecting to get pole as I did in Singapore, since this circuit demands a lot more downforce, whereas Singapore is a little bit of a different track. I always do well at street circuits. We're very tight where the walls are close. My aggressive driving style suits that, so I won't be getting Porsche, I imagine, at Suzuka, but I'll try still. Not going to give up. So down 18th at the moment then, so I'm in the drop zone, so if I don't improve my time, I will unfortunately be 18th on the grid, so hopefully I can improve it, but I've had to unfortunately use a brand new set of option tyres. Obviously my plan was to use the primes to get through on that, but it's not been possible, so I've had to go on the options. That should hopefully see me through though. But I do need to get a lap in. I've probably got time for 2 laps I should imagine. So I go to rich mixture then, DRS is wide open then for the run down the start finish straight. Go into the first sector, run a little bit wide in the first corner, but that's not been too bad at all. Can't complain. So into the S's now. Need to not get any grass on my tyres, which I have done there. That's not what I want to be doing. Shouldn't really cost me too much time. Maybe a tenth I've lost there from having reduced grip through that corner. A little bit more grass, but that time I was on the inside wheel, and it doesn't matter because it's the last corner in the first sector anyway. So now it's all clean, ready for this fast right-hander. So marginally up in the first sector. That's because that mistake. Oh, Ricardo there runs very wide, and I very nearly actually fly into him. That was close, but it's not been a great first sector. I'm 4 tenths down, I believe. That's on 17th place, which at the moment is my teammate. So I'm running quite low wings, so I'm not expecting to be fast in the first sector. But hopefully I should be able to catch it up in the second and mainly third sectors. So coming into Spoon Curve now then. Held a tighter line, but still not quite nailed it. And it's been a good second part though. Could have gotten throttle a little bit earlier actually. Had track in reserve. But DRS is wide open now for the end of the second sector. Should hopefully be up, but by how much? Only a tenth. That's not a lot at all. I'm now a tenth up on Resta though, but even so, that's not good on the option tyres. Usually there's around a second difference between the two. So to only get another tenth, that's not good. I should, in theory, be able to get a mid-35, but that's not looking to happen at the moment. Oh, I did get another couple of tenths in the final sector, though, so it's a 35.9. I'm going to go for another lap, though. I need another, well, I probably can get another 4 tenths or so out of it, I should imagine. But that does make me in 10th place, so I might not even need to. So I get another bit of grass on my tyres there. That's going to compromise in this next corner. Let's run a bit wide. Oh, it's not been a great line, but it's not terrible. Can't complain too much. There's Maldonado's sliding all over the track in front of me there. Hopefully he doesn't get in my way. As he winds up, does get in my way actually. I just get in his dirty air and wind out right out in the gravel. So hopefully that lap's going to be enough. It does put me in P10 at the moment. It should be enough. Be surprised if it's not. It's only 4 tenths difference though. Probably could have managed that on the prime tyres actually, but there we go. So 35.9 then is my time. Looks like it's going to be enough, but does the rest of stay? And he does. He's just put a fast lap and he's in 15th. So my teammate looks like he's going to go through. I think he did another fast lap as well at the end. So yes, 14th he winded up. So both 4 Indies through. The Williams of Bruno Senna is the one who drops out. So that's interesting. But coming into quali 2 now then. As we see another the same few shots of the track, it must be said. It would be nice to have a bit of variety, but there we go. So my objective is to finish second. I'm not sure that's going to be possible with the car performing as it is at the moment, but I'll certainly try. So brand new set of options then. I'm not going to bother with primes, that's not going to get me anywhere in this session. So straight for options, straight to the track, no messing about. So on lean mixture then for this remainder of the outlap. Of course, when you go for a flying lap, it warms the tyres up for you and your brakes, and just you only really usually get to the last sector or so. So most of the outlap's already been done. So going to Rich then, braking down into the final chicane, gearing up ready for another hot lap. So full throttle now then, DRS wide open, curves fully activated, and up through the gears to cross the line, and coming down the pit straight now. Do I reach the rev limiter? Not quite. Ooh, so I lag a little bit there on the top right. You can see glitching somewhat. That's someone who's invited me to a game. Unfortunately, that caused me to lag. And also, ooh, some glitchy debris there. That's interesting. Not sure what's gone on there, but it's put me off a little bit. It's not been a great first sector, but it's not been terrible. But I think that bit of lag where the game stopped there, I think the timer keeps going, so unfortunately that would have been a few tenths lost, so there's probably not really much point in me continuing this lap, to be honest. Looks like I am at the moment though. I'm still going, but I'm not sure I'm going to get anywhere with it. Oh, as I lock the outside wheel there, run very wide, that's going to put me in the gravel. It does indeed. Locking the outside wheel in that corner is not good. So Alonso's behind me there. I hope he's not on a hot lap. I don't think he is, but I want to stay ahead of him anyway, so I'm going to keep my foot in it. I'm going to gone to lean, but I'm going to be using DRS and keeping my foot well and truly in it to try and stay ahead of him. So second part of spoon curve then, we just went through. That's gone reasonably well, but not that it particularly matters since it's now an outlap really. As Perez is going very slowly on the outside there. Over for the gears then. So 130R, that corner is. Alonso's closing on me massively there. I'm going to have to go to the middle of the track a bit, but he backs out of it. So rich mixture then. The final corner, Alonso's very, very close behind me. I don't know if he was on a fast lap. I guess we're about to find out. Was he? I don't think he was. He hasn't posted a time. So that was all fine. What I was doing there, hold him up a little bit. Even though technically I was on a lap, but of course it was always going to be a slow one. Oh, Alonso did do a time lap. Sorry, I must have missed that. 35.6. He was on a hot lap. Oops. Oh well. Like I said, technically I was on a time, but I shouldn't really hold him up there. But there we go. There's a nice clean track in front of me now, and he probably would have slowed down or something frustrating like that. But anyway, we're in the first sector now. It's gone pretty well. DRS is open now for the run to the end of the first sector. He's backed right out of it now, Alonso. So 800s up on my previous lap, so it's not a lot better. So perhaps that lag didn't inflict or affect rather my time. So that's good. Didn't lock the brakes into this chicane this time. Grosjean's now gone fastest with a 35.2. That's pretty quick. I'm not sure I can manage that time. As I said, mid 35s is probably realistically where I'm going to be, as it starts to go red up top left now since I'm in the drop zone. Top 10 I need to be to get through to the next session. So, as I run a little bit wide in the second part of spoon curve, it's not been a perfect lap by any means. Button's now gone fastest, 35.1. DRS is wide open then. For the end of the second sector, I will also be up my previous lap, and I'm 1 second up, but that's on Raikkonen. It'll be on the P10 man when I'm in the drop zone. So it's not on pole. Don't get too excited. And he's done a 36.1, so I want to for a 35.3. Sorry, 36.3 he did, not 36.1. And I get a 35.7, so that wasn't a great final sector, I don't believe. But that's put me in 7th. That's enough to get through. But I'm still pushing hard now. Of course, it's enough to get through at the moment. I'm already dropped down to 8th, so if people put in laps, that will drop me down. So I'm still pushing now, trying to improve my lap. I can definitely improve it. So 35.7, so a couple of tenths up on what I did in quali 2. So it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's not perfect by any means. I found these tyres do tend to go off if you decide to do more than 1 or 2 laps on them, so we'll see. There we go, 4 tenths down. That felt like a pretty good first sector, so they certainly do go off. As I now give up on the lap. Pointless carrying on when I'm 4 tenths down in the first sector. I'm never going to get that back. Even if I do, I'll only equal it. So, still in 8th at the moment. Oh, no, 10th. 2 tenths inside. Probably will, yeah, there we go, knocked out. Down into 11th now, unfortunately. Alonso just above me there in 10th. 11th now is Alonso, I'm 13th, so falling down the order, definitely go back out again. I'll use my final set of brand new tyres, since even if I do get into quali 3, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to really get anywhere, does it? So, might as well use my final set of brand new tyres. So, the dying moments then of quali 2. 3 minutes left on the clock, 3 minutes 30, as you can see there. My current best is 1 minute 35.7. I do need to improve it to get through, but I am still ahead of my teammate as it stands, so it's not the end of the world. I'm not catastrophically slow. I'm about the same speed as him, so can't really complain. So, the rest of the wide open then, using pretty much all my curves for the run to the line. I need to try and improve this lap if I can. Got a nice clean track in front of me, looking on the mini-map in the bottom left. So, coming to the first corner, that looks like it's been pretty good. Lots of corrections on the steering wheel just to try and get my driving line right, more than to correct oversteer, to be honest. So, through to the S's then. Trying to brake reasonably early so that the back end doesn't step out as I'm trying to turn in. And desperately trying to avoid the grass. As you saw me do there, another correction, just to try and stay off the grass. Can stay on the grass there, for your inside tire at least, for that last corner. Doesn't do any harm in terms of lap time, because it's all one off by now, look. So 300ths down, so it's very, very close. I can certainly improve on that. 300ths is well within reach for the rest of the lap, but it wasn't a great... I can't remember what they're called. Is it Degnas? Or is that? I don't know what they're called. But first and second something. I think it's Degnas. Much like the Lesmos in Monza, you got Degna 1, Degna 2. So they weren't great. The fast right-handers. But spoon curvers looks like it's gone better. Need to nail this exit. I mostly have done. Could have done with turning in a little bit later, so I could get on the throttle a little bit earlier, but it's not the end of the world. It's been a pretty good lap, so end of the second sector now then. As I'm now 400s up, so it's not massively different. I need to nail this final sector, but I don't think I'd made too many mistakes last time, but I haven't. I've locked my inside wheel, it's pushed me wide. So I doubt that'll improve. If it does, it'll be very, very marginal. Indeed. Half a tenth down, unfortunately, so that doesn't improve, but I'm going for a second lap. Let's hope that car doesn't get in the way. It doesn't, fortunately. I think it's a Red Bull. Luckily, he didn't get in my way. So, I think I might get another lap in after this one if my tyres are hard up. As I said before, your tyres do tend to go off on this track. They don't usually. Usually you can do a couple of good laps on them, but on this track, for some reason, I was finding on the second or third lap, I felt like I was nailing it, but just wasn't getting the time. So, that first sector looked pretty much not perfect, but not far off it at all. Looks very, very good. Should be up, but I wouldn't surprise me if it's not. It's not. See, it's 10th down. I reckon the tyres have gone off already, unfortunately. But I'm still going to push, not going to give up, just in case I happen to find a couple of tenths middle sector, but I reckon that's pretty much it now. 13th place for me. As I said, beating my teammate, Di Resta. I believe there's a 10th down on me, so that's not the end of the world. I'm still the leading Force India, so I've not gone too slowly. I've done about, I think, realistically what we could have hoped for, even though my target was of course second, but I think that was almost impossible, to be honest, in this current car. I need some updates either for this car. I need to move teams, because this isn't great. So still that 10th though, so I've still managed to hold that in the middle sector. It could well be faster if I can nail this final sector. I do, more or less. If anything, broke a little bit too early, but it's been a good final sector. Can I improve it ever so slightly? It won't be a lot, but can I do it? I can't, no. A couple of hundredths I gained in the final sector, but it's not enough. I'm still that 10th down, so I did just about manage to cross the line, so I will be able to get a final lap in, but I should think my tyres are very gone off by now, particularly in this first sector. Ooh, so I ran very wide there when I pulled over the curb, but didn't really cost me any time. There's just understeering now, you can see, not getting as much grip as I used to. Pulling more or less the same speeds through the corners, but just not keeping it as tight as I could. And once again, running out right, very, very wide there, right on the grass. And coming into what I believe is a Degnas, 3 tenths down, so that's it. It's pretty much over, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, it's not been great. So returning to garage now then. Let's see the final result. There we go. So 13th then for me. As I said, there more or less than a tenth actually between me and my teammate, 13th and 14th, the two Force Indias. So it's gone not well, but at least I beat my teammate. But should be interesting for the race tomorrow anyway. As you can see there, my target was second. That was ridiculous. I was never going to get that. But there we go. My Alonso looks like qualified second, my rival, unfortunately. Who's second in the championship? I'm first, leading the championship. But there we go, disappointed. Anyway, races tomorrow, Sunday. Hopefully have it tomorrow morning. So don't forget to tune in for that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.